Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 88 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, and if you're looking to grow a successful membership website, this is the place to be. Today I'm talking about membership renewals, how to handle them, how to encourage more people to actually continue to be a member, and so on. Now, a lot of membership sites that we deal with are billing their users monthly, and when you've got somebody signed up on a monthly subscription, the renewals take care of themselves. Their monthly payment renews, it continuously bills until that person cancels. However, if you're billing people annually or maybe every 6 months, rather than monthly, or perhaps as an additional option to monthly, then that won't always be automatically renewing. It won't always be a subscription where every 6 months or every 12 months they automatically get rebilled. You may have decided for whatever reason when you were setting up your membership to have it so that at the end of that period somebody loses their access unless they manually renew. And even if that's not the case, even if you do have automatic renewals in place for annual billing, quarterly billing, 6 monthly billing, or whatever period that you're working with, typically when the billing cycle is over a longer period of time and there are larger gaps between that initial payment somebody makes when they first join your site and the renewal payment they make when the time they paid for is up, typically the amount of time that passes is long enough that it makes it far more likely that that person will forget that a renewal payment is due. So if you have long billing cycles that automatically renew, then people may actually have a bit of a shock when all of a sudden hundreds of dollars goes missing from their bank account and they didn't realize or they hadn't remembered that that was going to happen. That also comes with a greater chance that that payment may actually fail, because if someone is due for renewal and it's an annual membership, then unless they've been made aware that this renewal payment is coming up, they may not have the necessary funds in the right account at the right time, or perhaps the renewal payment hits a few days before they get paid from their business or from their job, and as a result, the payment could fail. Maybe they've actually changed their credit card details, or the credit card they used to start their subscription has expired in the time that's passed between when they first joined and when the renewal payment is due. So there's so many different things that can go wrong when it comes to renewals if you have longer billing cycles where the payment is set to automatically renew. It's important that in order to ensure that there's far fewer people actually drop off at their renewal point, that you're issuing reminders to people in advance of these renewal payments actually hitting. So the way that we handle it in MemberSite Academy, we have 2 different payment options. We have the option for people to pay monthly, and we also have an annual option. And both of those options come with automated rebilling. Now, obviously, as we said before, that's standard for monthly payments. But if someone joins on an annual plan, even if they're aware that at some point, roughly round about this time of the year, they're going to be rebilled, maybe they've forgotten the date, maybe they have in their head that they joined in November when actually it was December, or the other way around. So if we didn't remind them, if we didn't take the action to make sure that there was absolutely no way they could be unaware that their renewal payment was coming up, then we'd possibly have more failed renewals. We'd possibly even have more complaints from people who didn't realize or don't know why we've gone in and taken money from their account. So what we will do is, as soon as somebody joins our membership on an annual plan, we will use ActiveCampaign in order to schedule a series of emails that will start going out to them 11 months after they first join. So for the 4 to 5 weeks prior to their renewal date, they'll receive a whole bunch of different emails from us. So in that final month, we'll send 4 to 5 emails. First of all, letting them know that their renewal date is coming up, letting them know what will happen, what to do if they've changed their card details or they've changed their PayPal account or anything like that, so that they're fully prepared and they're totally ready for the renewal payment that's coming. And As scary as it may be to suggest that you do this, we also make sure that people know that if they don't want to renew, they have the option to cancel. They can cancel their account themselves, and we actually point them in the direction of where they would do that. We'd far rather somebody who doesn't actually want to renew take that action and cancel their account than have them get billed again and then complain to us or dispute the payment or kick up a fuss. We'd rather avoid those headaches and allow people the opportunity and make it as easy as possible for them to cancel their upcoming recurring payment. So we make sure that on the logistical level, people who have an upcoming renewal know exactly what's going on, what they need to do if they want to continue being a member, what they need to do if they want to stop being a member. We also take that opportunity throughout the emails we send them in that final month to summarize and remind them of the value that they've had as a member. So we look at some of the highlights from the past year of their membership in the Academy. We let them know about the main new courses we've added, new tools or new resources. First and foremost, just in case they've missed anything that would be of huge value to them, but also just to remind them of why it's great to be a member of our site. So we remind them of the value they've had, so they're more likely to want to continue receiving that sort of value. And with that in mind, the next email we'll send them within that sequence is actually to signpost the future value of things that are to come within the membership. We do this because we not only want them to assess their membership and whether they want to stay based on what they've had so far, but also based on what they'll potentially be losing out on in terms of new content, new tools, new resources, if they make the decision to leave. And that makes for a far more compelling case when you're trying to encourage people to continue to be a member, because that signposting of that future value creates a bit of pain of disconnect. It means they need to make a decision to not get this stuff that's coming up. So as well as revisiting the value we provided, we let them know what's still to come so they know that there's still great worth in continuing to be a member. And we include various other elements into the different emails we send out over that final month just to really encourage people and really make people want to stick around, and also just so they know what's happening. They have those regular reminders that the payment date is coming. Nobody has any nasty surprises. We don't have any issues with failure rates, and actually our renewal rate for the Academy for our annual members is fantastic. Since we started the Academy, 98% of our annual members continue on their membership and are more than happy to do so. So make sure that when it comes to the renewals, when you have longer billing periods, you're reminding them that this is going to happen. You're ensuring they know everything that they need to know in terms of continuing or cancelling their subscription. You're summarising the value they've had as well as the value they'd miss out on if they leave, and you're just making it an easy decision for someone to want to stay. Now, typically, if that payment, that annual payment or 6 monthly payment, what have you, is recurring, the price will be kept the same. That's for two reasons. First and foremost, on a technological level, with payment processors and how subscriptions work, you typically aren't able to adjust the payment terms that somebody has signed up for. So even if you put up your prices for new members during the time that has passed since this renewing person first joined, on a purely technical level, you probably won't be able to increase their recurring payment. But also, you don't want to do that. Ensuring that people continue to get the rate that they first signed up for is huge for retention. Because think about it, if somebody signed up to your website 4 or 5 years ago and they signed up for $200 a year, and then now if a new member joined on an annual basis, they'd need to pay $500 per year, then the person with $200 a year, when it comes time to renew, even if they're on the fence and maybe they are thinking about leaving, the fact that when they leave, they will lose the ability to hang on to that preferential rate. And so if they left and came back, it would be more expensive. That can be enough to sway someone towards staying and towards actually investing the time to get more value out of your membership site. So you want to keep the price the same for a variety of different reasons. So much of what we're talking about here mostly applies to situations where that annual or that 6-monthly subscription automatically renews. However, for whatever reason, you may have actually only charged someone on a one-off basis when they first joined, or perhaps you decided that your renewals, you wanted them to be manual. So somebody paid their payment to get a year's worth of access, but at the end of it, their access stops, their subscription stops, and you then attempt to get them to take up another year, but it's all manual. It's all on the member themselves. They have to take the step to actually join up. And there's various reasons why you might want to do that. Perhaps your audience are typically averse to automated rebilling. Perhaps your membership is set up more like a program where perhaps the ongoing nature of the subscription isn't just a natural thing that goes with how you're delivering the content. But for whatever reason, typically when you do put the onus on members to renew themselves, you are obviously going to get fewer people who renew. Because when that renewal payment is going through automatically, the decision to stay is a passive one. You don't need to do anything if you want to stay. Whereas with a manual renewal, it's an active decision. You have to take action in order to stay. And with that, there's more friction, there's more reliance on somebody getting up off their backside and being driven enough to want to continue on as a member for another year for them to go through the process of renewing. So this does usually mean that you get fewer people actually renewing. But the main thing that this approach does enable is the ability to present a variety of different options at the time of renewal. So we said before, when you're automatically renewing, then the price, the plan, the terms are pretty much going to remain the same. However, if your subscription has manual renewals, then that means that you can either make it so that someone who does want to continue for another year has to continue on at the current annual rate. So if you really can't wrap your head around the idea of early members keeping and hanging on to a really discounted rate compared to new ones, then this is the way that you would actually have it so that if your price is increased, anyone renewing has to pay the higher price. But the flip side of that, and the better thing about that, is it gives you the chance to present some offers, some discounts or some sort of promotion to your renewing members. So as an example, one of our clients, they had automatic renewals for their annual membership, but they were finding the renewal rate was typically quite low. It wasn't where they wanted it to be. So what they did instead is they switched over to manual renewals. They made it so that everyone at the end of their year had to then take the step to manually resubscribe for another year. But what they did was, for those people, they gave them two options. They could either subscribe for one more year at a discounted rate, so they actually gave them a discount on that additional year of membership compared to what they would pay if they were a new member. And they also offered them the chance to sign up for a lifetime membership. So this is something that was never made available to the public. So if you went to the website today and tried to sign up, you wouldn't be able to purchase a lifetime membership. However, the fact that this is presented as a renewal option at the end of your first year, first of all, negates some of the downsides of offering a lifetime membership, which in a lot of cases just comes down to the total customer lifetime value of someone who buys lifetime versus someone who will stay a member for months and months and years. So the fact that you've had a full year of paid subscription before giving people the lifetime option, that means that the overall lifetime value of that member is higher than it would be if you just gave them the lifetime option up front. But also, someone who's been a member for a year is far more likely to take up the lifetime option. And especially if they were kind of on the fence about whether they wanted to continue on for another year, that changes the decision process. Because someone who's kind of 50-50, do I want to pay for another year? Do I want to keep paying year after year? If you say to them, listen, if you're not 100% sure on whether you want to pay $100 for another year, you know what? Pay me $200 or $300, and that's for life. That's for the next 5, 10, 15 years. Then actually that sways them. But chances are you're still making more money out of that member because they might not have continued on. And in fact, when this was tested out, the renewal rate went up compared to automatic renewals. So straight away, the lifetime value, people who were actually cancelling before were choosing to stay on. And the split between people who took on the lifetime option versus people who stayed for another year was about 70-30. So overall, yes, there were people who were getting lifetime memberships, but actually those people may only have stayed for 1 or 2 years, when with the lifetime option in play, the value of their first year that they pay for plus the lifetime option was the equivalent of them staying for 5 years. So overall, it worked out so much better, increased the profitability of the membership, increased the renewal, and it added a special little element, because what happened in the community was they started celebrating the fact that they joined as lifetime. So they'd done a year of regular membership, then they were given the lifetime option, and they would post things on the community like, "Fantastic, I just joined the Lifetime Club." And then the other members would all congratulate them and kind of welcome them into the club. And it just adds that extra element and really gets people hooked into your community. So if you have annual subscriptions or 6 monthly or quarterly subscriptions where the renewal is manual, then look at that as an opportunity to play around with promotions, play around with offers, and present people with a variety of different options that will not only make it easier for them to continue on as a member where otherwise they may have dropped off or cancelled, but also enables you to really elevate and really take further and increase the customer lifetime value of that member. So just to summarize, when it comes to your billing cycles, if they're longer, if it's not monthly where they're just automatically ticking over month after month, make sure that people are aware that the renewal's coming up, especially if they're auto-renewing. You want to avoid any nasty shocks, any failed payments, any clawbacks on the credit cards or anything like that. Ensure you're getting in touch with those renewing members at least a month before it's time for renewal to let them know what's going on, to remind them of the value they've had and the value that's still to come, and to encourage them to sign up. And if your renewals are manual, jump on that as an opportunity to really make something special and really sweeten the pot for people when they're thinking about whether they want to stay in your membership. So hopefully that's given some food for thought, some ideas and inspirations for how you can handle your member renewals. That's it for this episode of the Membership Guys podcast. I'll be back again very soon with another installment. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Membersite Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membersite Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Membersite Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.